Welcome back. We're keeping an eye on a couple of developing stories in the Senate today, where Boeing CEO just wrapped up testimony before a subcommittee about his company's safety standards following a series of Boeing airplane mechanical failures. During that hearing, the CEO, Dave Calhoun, apologized to families of victims of recent incidents involving Boeing planes. We're also following the Senate's attempt to pass legislation restoring a ban on bump stocks. Democrats were looking to pass the bill under unanimous consent, but a Republican Senator, Pete Ricketts of Nebraska, has already blocked that effort. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles joins us now live from the Hill. So, Ryan, let's start with this vote on bump stocks. What's happening right now?
Well, the path to getting a bump stock bill passed has now become increasingly more difficult. The Democrats in the Senate were hoping that they could pass this bill under what's called unanimous consent, which would basically mean they put it on the floor, ayes and nays. If it passes, it passes. But it only takes one Republican to block that from happening, and Senator Pete Ricketts was the person to do that. So that means that if a bill like this is going to have to pass, it's going to have to go through a much more lengty process. It's going to need 60 votes in order to pass the Senate, which is obviously a much higher bar and would require a lot more Republican support than it would if it were to pass under unanimous consent. What's interesting about this, Gabe, is that this is a proposal that by and large most Republicans have been supportive of. Keep in mind that it was implemented during the Trump administration with President Trump's support in the wake of the Las Vegas mass shooting. But now in the reality here of attempting to try and pass any sort of legislation that would limit the rights of gun owners, any form of gun control, you see Republicans backing away. So the idea that this is something that's going to happen quickly now seems as it's not going to happen very quickly as a result of what we saw play out here today. Is there a better chance at this passing at all after November? I mean, it really depends on how the election plays itself out, Gabe. We've kind of entered this period of time on Capitol Hill where it's almost a silly season, where there isn't really going to be much substantive legislation passed until after the election. Both sides are reluctant to move forward any sort of legislation that could either be helpful or hurtful during the election, and they've really passed all the major pieces of legislation that need to be done before the end of the year. They will have to deal with spending in the fall. But to answer your question, maybe it's more likely after the election, but it really depends on the results of that election before we know for sure. And Ryan, before I let you go, Boeing CEO faced tough questions about his company's safety record. Anything actually happen as a result of today's hearing? Yeah, it's a great question, Gabe. And I do think that Congress does have some ability here to change the way Boeing conducts itself. The company is a huge client. The federal government is a huge client of Boeing's. And so therefore, future appropriations packages could have some level of oversight into the way they do business. And also keep in mind, the airline industry is one of the most heavily regulated industries in America. And the FAA has very direct oversight into what Boeing does. So there could possibly be substantive changes to the way they do business. What those are, we'll have to wait and see. Ryan Nobles live for us on the Hill. Ryan, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.